Good day, our wonderful viewers. You're welcome to your darling station, The Living TV, and also you're welcome to your wonderful program, Nigeria Today. Nigeria Today is a program of The Living Television that talks about the current happenings, the event, the trending issues in Nigeria, in the state, and within. And today, your anchorman, as usual, is Chinedum Adiele. Today, I have able personalities in the studio who are going to look at some of these trending issues and aid their opinions. And from my far left, I have Honorable Ayodele Omonle. Honorable Ayodele Omonle is the immediate past president of Nzuko Ohaneze Ndim. Honorable Ayo, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. The viewers.
I also have our regular guest here, Dr. Stanley Nduago. Dr. Stanley Nduago is a teacher, not just a teacher. He is a broadcaster and also a public affairs analyst. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir, and distinguished viewers, welcome to this edition of Nigeria Today.
Right, today we are looking at, let me say, the most current happening in Abia State today, and that is that the National Board for Technical Education has withdrawn the accreditation for Abia State Polytechnics.
Well, we woke up yesterday to the realization that our own polytechnic, the Enyimba Polytechnic, the Abia State Polytechnic, has lost its accreditation, that the approval granted the Polytechnic has been withdrawn by the National Board for Technical Education for reasons that are well known to all of us. Lecturers of the Polytechnic are owed for 37 whole months. If my mathematical calculations are correct, that is talking about 3 years workers are owed. Visit the Polytechnic, you realize the decay in infrastructure. You will see that the morale of the lecturers are quite low. You will see students being exploited. You will see all manner of things that show that no quality education can be passed in such an environment. How do you owe workers for 3 good years and you expect to get the best out of them? Mind you also that the MPT is said they notified the governor that should nothing, or if nothing is done or was done as the case may be, within a specified period of time, that they were going to wield the big stick. And unfortunately, the government could not do anything.
And the notification was not just what?
Well, recall also that our own Apex Health Institution, Abia State University Hospital, ABSUT Abia, also lost its accreditation. And do not also be surprised that the National Council for Colleges of Education, NCCE, could also withdraw the accreditation granted to our own College of Education because their own case is the worst. They are owed for upward of 39 months. So the question is, what is happening? From analysis given by a former student union president of the school, said that when this administration of Dr. Kezibazu came on board, that the allocation being given to the Polytechnic, or was there allocation, I don't know what they call it, monthly subvention rather, being given to the Polytechnic was 90 million naira. And it was reduced from 90 million to 50 million naira. And that last year, out of the 12 months, the Polytechnic got only 4 months. And this year, from January now to this July, that the state government has given the Polytechnic only 50 million naira for once. That is for the month of January. what is happening? Why has education taken the back seat in Abia State? That is the question the officials of the state government should handle, but it is unfortunate that this is happening under not just a governor that was a teacher, a university teacher, a governor who prides himself as a scholar in governance. The state governor is a PhD holder, the deputy governor is a PhD holder, the wife is a PhD holder, the wife of the governor is a PhD holder, the state party chairman is a PhD holder, the immediate past chief of staff a PhD holder. So what is happening? It is unfortunate, rather. We are short of words. We don't even know what to say.
Okay, do we liken this to the popular saying that most tailors are the ones who wear rags? Yet these are the people who make clothes, wonderful dresses for others. Comrade and Honorable Ayo Omunle, what is your take on this? What do you think is the major cause of this withdrawal of accreditation of the only state polytechnic in Abia?
Thank you very much. The National Board for Technical Education, acting this way, it suggests that somebody has not really done his job. I mean, in the state, the state being run by a lecturer and a former lecturer, who is an erudite lecturer in the university. One would have thought that part of his interest would be to, further the cost of education. One wonders why it is worrisome that the lecturers and the lecturers, because they don't get their salaries as at when due, will not be happy to impart knowledge to these students. And these is the people we classify as the leaders of tomorrow. And then I would wonder also why there is problem, or does it mean that they don't get the statutory application regularly, or what is really wrong? Why is it that upon notifying the governor, they haven't done anything? They haven't done anything to ensure that the school, the accreditation board, doesn't take this away from us. It is worrisome. And I would pray that they go back to the drawing board and see where they can come up with a template to ensure regular payment of salary, so that the school system will go on without a hitch.
Do not forget the fact, comrades, sir, that this goes even beyond the Polytechnic or College of Education. Our secondary schools and primary schools have been under lock and key for a very long time. And the children in the junior school certificate classes, that's the JSS 3 students, couldn't write their JSS 3 examination because teachers had been on strike. The first school leaving certificate that should have been written, it's always written between 15th and 21st of July every year. Nobody even knows when it is going to be written because of that. The excuse the government is making, because Comrade raised the question, say, does it mean that the state does not get the allocation? Well, the answer is so obvious that Buhari has not withheld the allocation of the state government. What they say or make as excuses is that the schools should be able to generate their own funding. But the question is, are you doing what you are supposed to do as a state government?
All right, that's the much we're going to take on this. And we are really, the news came in today, flew in today, and so we know that the government cannot allow this to lie low. They're going to do something about it. There is no how a whole polytechnic will be locked down as a result of the withdrawal from NBT. I'm sure the government is going to do something. So let us not overflog it. Let us believe that the government, they are really doing something. All right, today, President Muhammadu Buhari has given the Minister of Education, Adami Adamu, 2 weeks ultimatum to resolve the impasse that led to the over 5-month strike embarked on by Academic Staff Union of universities and others, and also get back to him immediately after 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks. And then let me also start with you, Dr. Onduago. Given 2 weeks, is it just a mere discussion, or is there any of the agitational issues implemented?
Well, I would want to give Adamu and his master, Mr. President, the benefit of the doubt. But let us look at what is this issue that can never be resolved. My little boy, who is also a victim of this long industrial action, gave me some analytical calculation. He told me from his finding that in PDP's 16 years of rule, that lecturers went on strike for 36 times. Now, in APC's 8 years of rule, or getting to 8 years of rule, they've gone on strike for 16 times. I want you to say the mathematics that on average, every 4 years, lecturers go on strike for 16 times. Now, after 5 whole weeks, the president came out last week or 2 weeks ago to speak. Now, 2 weeks later, he has spoken and has given 2 weeks to Adamu to act. We don't know whether it is now release the money to the lecturers, agree to the 2009 agreement and then implement it, or go back and renegotiate with them. It is not clear to me as a person. But let us believe that having spoken before and having given a directive now that Adamu is going to act and our children will get back to classes. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. But it is shameful that we cannot run our university system in Nigeria. It is unfortunate.
All right, Comrade Ayo, last about 2 weeks ago, Mr. President made a statement, and the ASU executive referred to that statement as comical, and they said the federal government, they accused the federal government of making the public university a sort of a glorified secondary school. And now he has given 2 weeks ultimatum to the Minister for Education. Do you think anything good is going to come out of this?
Yes, thank you, Prof. Ultimatum, no. Ultimatum won't work at all. You know, this impasse started about, they had a meeting by February 14th, and then the government and the ASU leadership, and then they didn't come to a middle ground, you know, as to how they are going to tackle this issue. But most of these issues boils down to remuneration. So if you, on the government side, government should, by my own thinking, government should have paid off those debts they owe the ASU members, you know, to give them, to bolster up their interest, you know, to go back to work. So if government say they are giving them ultimatum now, does it mean that dialogue has failed entirely? Or that is part of the impunity they accuse government of? You see?
Yeah, I think the ultimatum was actually given to the minister to go and ensure that this impact is resolved.
Yeah, so now the question now is, how is what is Adamu going to do with us? Back to a negotiation.
Well, I believe that there are certain things the president would have told him that we are not made known to us.
Okay.
Telling him to go and ensure, if you are sending me on such an errand, you must equip me with the necessary instruments I'm going to use to. Yes. So I'm sure that the president must have equipped him with what are needed to ensure that this issue is resolved. And I want to give them, as I said earlier, the benefit of the doubt. Let us see what will come out of it.
My take on that, if I may, I want to pick it up.
Yeah.
My take on that is that it's going to fail because Adamu isn't working alone. You know, he is working with a team of, you know, erudite professors who are the hierarchy of the ASU. So they are going to. He's not going to give them a matching order, they are going to still need government to come back to the drawing board so that they can dialogue on how to make it work. It's not about ultimatum. So to me, I think it's not going to work.
Well, just like Dr. Ndago said, I think the word in parenthesis ultimatum could mean that he is armed. The minister may be armed with one of these, with one of the agitating factors.
To get them resolved.
To get them resolved. Because you can't say these people are saying you've called them back severally and they said no. And then you can now go back to a talking table when nothing is done. I don't think so. Well, that's the point. But the last question I want us to look at before we go ahead, do we look at these long-lasting strike because Nigeria has no money? When our senators and members of the House of Assembly, from what we had, each person may take home about 20-something million naira a month. So do we blame this is it because we don't have money in Nigeria, or because the government don't understand or know the value of education? Doc?
It is not all about having the money, it's all about having one's priorities well set. You told us what we assume these politicians take home. This is the one on record. There could be some other ones that are not on record. So we have the money to fund our institutions of learning. We have the money to fund the tertiary education system, but that is not our priority. That is just the case.
Okay, so Ayo, what would you think a government like this, when we talk about the youths being, the leaders of tomorrow, and then if we don't take their education seriously, then how are we sure that these youths are going to take over from us?
Yes, I want to look at the merits of, a youth, that grew up in a malfunctional education system. We are going to have half-baked professors. We are going to have more or less, criminals in the system. But if we take time to engage them properly, give them the learning and put our priorities right, I think we will have the majority of the youth will in turn, contribute their own quota meaningfully to the growth of education, to the growth of the nation entirely. So I think in that area, government really, it has to be, to me, it should be the fulcrum of the main budget of this country. We have to look at it and place it at the topmost, echelon. So we have to, the government have to go back and see what to do about this. Otherwise, we can't be getting it all wrong all the time.
All right. There is also those news that came in. And our Mama killings, youth barricade Owerri, Onocha Road. And the information reaching us is that the youths are protesting as a result of 9 youths killed by the operatives of Ibubago in Imo State. And also we learned that these youths were coming back from a wedding ceremony when they were accosted by the Ibubago people and they were all massacred. And the youths are asking. All right, on the other side, the governor of the state, Hope Uzodinma, has also announced that these guys are bandits, while their co-youths and the Masob are saying that no, these guys are not bandits. That even if they were, as at the time of this apprehension, they had no guns with them. Why didn't the Ibubago people take them to the police or law enforcement agents also for prosecution and so on? So how do we look at this level of killing in Imo State? No.
It is unfortunate that killings have become part of us in the country. I remember growing up, when you hear that someone is killed somewhere, everybody becomes apprehensive. It bothers everybody. But in Nigeria, we woke up every day to the realization that killings no longer matter to us, blood no longer matters to us. How would you explain a situation where 6 or 9, whatever the word, even if it is one person, were just murdered? Because I call it murder. These young men were captured alive. They didn't die in the process of shootout. If actually they are bandits, criminals, unknown gunmen, by whatever name we call them, having caught them alive, the ideal thing to have done should have been to hand them over to the police for profiling and possible prosecution. This is called jungle justice in very plain language. And what worries me is that the governor of the state, from what we are reading in the papers, has come out, remember he's the chief security officer of the state, has come out to say that these are actually bandits. How did you come to know? Are you a policeman? When did the investigation carry out? What is the investigation report? How did you just immediately conclude that these are all bandits? That is quite wrong. I want the federal government of Nigeria and the IGP to please come into this, unravel the mystery behind this killing. This is jungle justice. It's not allowed in the society. And the government should not, the governor of the state, who posed the man, should tell us on the premise through which he got to know or came to the conclusion that these are actually bandits. Enough of the killings in Nigeria, enough of the killings in the South. By the way, is Ebubeagụ legally empowered to pass judgment and kill? Isn't Ebubeagụ a vigilance group that should assist the police, the army, or the DSS? Then we have a lot of questions that are answered in this. So I ask the government to please come into it.
Yes, Honorable Layo, when we talk about Ebubeagụ, they are seen, the Ebubeagụ operatives are seen as a state government, the way they operate in Imo, that's the way they operate in Ebonyi. I'm sure I visited Ebonyi about 2 months ago, and they were scattered everywhere. Though I have not seen them here in Abia State. So are they supposed to carry out such killings in the name of a vigilante group?
Thank you very much, Prof. This issue, I won't see it as extrajudicial killing because it's done by government agents of coercion. So, but they are not doing it the right way. Like a doctor correctly said, he said, these people should have, if you find anything incriminating on them, the best thing you can do is to take them to a law court. At least they are innocent until they are proven guilty, And these are children of, just they have parents like you and I, and they are just being wasted like that. And this thing has been occurring. There have been many instances in many states where we operate. There has been this, very nonsensical killing, wanton killing and waste of life. It is very unfortunate. And it all boils down to the question of, fact security. What has government really done to ensure that, security, people's lives and property is being secured? That people's lives are not just wasted anyhow. So it's very unfortunate. With the benefit of hindsight, this security issue, it has taken over the entire 36 states of the federation. There is no day you open your radio or you get a daily that you don't find people killed. So government has to checkmate this agent of coercion to ensure that there won't be excessive waste of life. Nigeria is fast becoming a killing field. It's unfortunate.
All right, as we talk about these killings, and especially if the government is involved, just like in the case of Imo State, where the governor of the state is directly involved and he has tagged them bandits, then what do we do? Who else do people run to? Who else do the common person run to, as they claim that these young men are who oppose the mass government? Who knows what to believe? All right, while we're talking on that, before we go on break, let us look at this. 5 officials of Traffic and Indiscipline Management Agency of Abia State, known as TIMAS, have been arraigned in an Abia Magistrate Court sitting in Aba North. for pushing one Miss Kelly, who is 17 years, from a moving vehicle on Brass Junction in Aba here. We've heard a lot of things about the Timas, so on, their activities and so on. But this one, as we speak, they are in court for pushing a girl out from the vehicle, maybe trying to apprehend if you see how they drag with drivers on steering and so on. Dr. Nduago.
Well, this is the beginning of the worst things that will happen to Timas if they don't retrace their steps. These are the people set up by the state government, that is how the state government, to control traffic and maintain discipline on our roads. Unfortunately, they have become the indisciplined themselves. That is, they have become the epitome of indiscipline. If you see what, just as you analyzed, you begin to wonder what they do. You see them pounce on a driver, drag him out, molest him, assault him, drive the vehicle, even themselves driving against the traffic. 2 weeks ago, I think one of them lost his life at Bata Junction, Ezuipu Junction, when they had an altercation with security agencies. And that should have been a very big lesson to them. Unfortunately, the management of the mass has not condemned the acts of their personnel or even called them to order. Each time you draw their attention to the misdemeanor or bad conduct of their staff or personnel, they come to their defense. I think justice will be done, and that will serve as a deterrent to the rest of them. They are not above the law. If they have offended the law, they should pay for it. Of course, up till they are still innocent, just as Comrade said, until they are proved guilty in the law court. But I'm sure that justice will be done in this case.
All right, Honorable Ayo, though this Timas is approved by the Abia State government, do you think they are doing the right thing?
Yes, if you ask me, I think I want to involve the road safety more in this, maintenance of, or trying to control traffic. It's basically the job of the road safety. I think there has to be a sort of revalidation exercise so that drivers can, understand, what it takes and how to behave, how to comport themselves on the road, so that there won't be government authorities chasing them here and there. And they are not doing it the proper way, because they are also going to risk people's life. Sometimes when they drag this steering, while the drivers are on, so the people will see them and make way to escape and all that. So it is not ideal. So we're in a civilized society, and if something like that happens, there has to be a way either to take their numbers or to find a way to fish them out, not on steering as they want to. So they are not doing it the proper way.
All right, our wonderful viewers, and I know in most government settings, especially in the Western world, we have what we call a public relations manager in every government that interprets the policies of government, keeping the people aware of certain things, before they even happen. But I don't think it is that way here. Whatever happens, you see a lot of people with so many uniforms on the road, dragging drivers and so on, without even full information about that particular organization. That is what we're talking about. It's not supposed to be so. We're going to be back. We're going on a very short break, and we'll be back shortly. Don't just go away. Stay with us.
Admission is ongoing at Living TV Film Academy, Aba, Abia State, for candidates wishing to study filmmaking and mass communication for skill certificate training and degree programs, including mandatory NYSC post-degree service. Courses offered are Department of Journalism and Media Studies, Broadcast Journalism, TV Presentation, Photojournalism, Department of Film and Multimedia Studies, Cinematography, Acting, Video Editing, Film Production, Website Designing, Modeling and Makeup, Bead Making, Screenwriting, Theatre Arts, Department of Broadcasting, Script Writing, Journalism, Reporting, Software Programming, Mobile and Web App Development, Audio Production, Graphic Designing, Digital Animation, Special Effects, Social Media Management. Entry qualifications. Candidates must possess 5 credits in WASICAM GCE, NAPTEB or equivalents. We have the following technical infrastructure for students' skills acquisition: an art theatre well equipped for modern digital television and radio studios open for hire to the public, an audio suite for music production, soundtracks, sound effects, jingles and voice-over, etc. A 50 feet by 40 feet chroma studio, largest in Africa for special effects, world-class rendering facilities for post-production rendering, animation and cartoon technology, assorted professional cameras, drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theatre arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website. Radio, livingradio.com.ng, the academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com, email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com, or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar.
Welcome back, our wonderful viewers. Thank you that you are still there watching Living TV Nigeria today. I'm still with my regular guests, Honorable Ayo Only and Dr. Stanley Indwago. Today, let us also look at the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, has accused the federal and state government as well as the security agencies in Nigeria of failure to protect Nigerians. How factual is this, Don?
Well, I am happy that it is coming from no less a person than the governor of Katsina State. And when Katsina State is one of the states that have been ravaged by the marauding bandits, to the extent that even the commander-in-chief himself, the president of Nigeria's advance team, was attacked. That was 2 weeks ago. That tells you the level of insecurity we are facing in this country. Yes, what Tambuwal said is true. The primary duty of the government is protection of life first, then property follows, and then social amenities. So Nigerian governments and the states, including he himself, because he is the chief security officer of the state, so they have failed. Thank God he has owned up to that. So the question is, having realized that they have failed, it is not mere accusation, it is a statement of fact. So having realized that they have failed to protect lives and property, what is next? Is it all about lamenting? What are they doing about it? One of the reasons why people voted massively for Buhari in 2015 was that the fact that this is a retired army officer who is security conscious, that he will restore security to Nigeria. He will ensure, as he promised, that this Boko Haram, because that was the major threat we had, Boko Haram. But today we have bandits, we have unknown gunmen, we have Fulani herdsmen, now we have a Bugago, as we are seeing that the issue has multiplied. So the government of the day has failed in its primary responsibility. The question now is, what is the way out? I have told the president of Nigeria and the government to swallow their pride and seek foreign help. I think that is the only way out of the situation.
Okay, the two-time governor of Akwa Ibom State, Victor Atta, Obong Victor Atta, cried out that Nigeria has never been this bad. Cried out. Honorable Ayo, would you agree to that statement?
Thank you very much, Prof. In fact, the state of the nation is worrisome, and it's all about, the threat of annihilation of, the citizens of this country. And I will not fault Alhaji Masari and the former governor of
Akwa Ibom State, Obong.
Because there is one thing we need to do about this. If you ask anybody, way back in the 80s, if you tell any person that we will have up to 4 or 5 different terror groups oppressing this country, it will be like a child's play. They will laugh it up. But it is real, and it is here with us. So, like I was discussing with my colleague a couple of days back, that what happened to Reuters told us that before the September, I want to digress a little, sorry, that before the September attacks in America, that they got intelligence reports about that terrorists were about to strike. They didn't know it was the Twin Tower, which was a notable place, a World Trade Center. So in Nigeria today, we are getting the hint and the magnitude, of implication of these terror attacks, and we are not doing anything, anything solid.
Like in the case of Kuje prison.
We are not doing anything. Like that Kuje prison attack, whereby they release, according to reports, they release close to 1,000 terrorists. The government could have used that, as a standpoint to, just draw a template on how to secure this country and ensure that, particularly the service chiefs who have been there, I want to see them until they are comfortable, because if they were doing their job, they will not, such a thing will not happen. And it's a shame to, the most populous country in Africa. So you cannot travel to Lagos now, and until you cross Edo State, you won't have peace of mind. And it's also applicable to those who travel to Abuja. If you don't get to where is that point, Kogi State, that part. If you don't get to that point, you are not sure whether you get to your final destination. So I think we have to call for a national security summit and try to find a lasting solution to this, so that we get everybody involved, experts, the governors, the native, the youth, the communities, and see how to track this problem in before and make it in the board. Time has come for that.
Okay, yeah, it is important, since every person is lamenting, both the northerners and even the southerners. Almost all of us are lamenting about the nature of insecurity in this country. Something needs to be done. All right, President Buhari yesterday officially unveiled the new Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC Limited, as a fully independent, commercial and profit-oriented energy company, the largest energy company in Africa. What do we expect from this, Doc?
Yes, I watched the unveiling of the new NNPC, and I called a friend of mine and said, have you heard that NNPC has now been changed it has not become a business venture. The person said, what next? What do we expect? Would anything good come out of it? That's just a rhetorical question. Well, the import of it is that NNPC has transmitted from a corporation, non-profit making organization, to a company, profit-making organization, now to make profit for the good of our country, Nigeria. I do not know the article and memorandum, what it contains, but the bottom line is that it has become a productive and profit-making organization. Let us believe that they are going to ensure that we have petrol in supply at a very moderate rate. Remember, since yesterday it was done, I don't know whether it was observed, the queues have started in Aba. Since yesterday, they've added from 165 naira, they've started selling 185 naira, some 200 as we speak now. Just less than 24 hours that was done. I wouldn't know that is part of the business making aspect of it, to inflate prices for the common man to keep suffering. I just pray that the changing of name and changing of strategy will be in the overall interest of the common man in Nigeria and not to make us dry and impoverish us the more.
All right, our viewers, you can always call in to make your contributions or ask questions based on what you've had us say here. And the number to call is 091 082 84994. I take the number again, 091 082 84994. You can call in and make your contributions. Okay, Honorable Ayo, when it was when NNPC was a non-profit making organization and Nigerians never found it easy in terms of pump price and so on, what do you think will happen now that is a commercial profit making organization?
Well, thank you, Prof. Well, the idea is good, to make it a profit-making venture. But the thing that people are not happy about is that the soaring prices of petroleum products. Petroleum, at a gallon of, a liter of kerosene now costs about 500 or 600.
Which we
8,000.
It's about 900
about 900
yes.
in the black markets, and this is not good, to people who have suffered under the boogie of a bad economy. So they need to make this thing affordable, available, and I like NNPC to be a profit-making thing. They also need to look at, the importation of oil and try to fix our refineries. At least those things, those ideas will bring down the price of petroleum products, and that's what the ordinary man in the street understands. So they want this thing to be available, to be accessible to them when they want it.
Okay, just briefly, Doc. Like I said earlier, now it is a profit-making organization, and even when it was not, we've never found it easy. How beneficial is it going to be to the common man in the street?
That is the question on the lips of everyone. What are we going to benefit from changing it from a non-profit making body to a commercial and profit making organization? Comrade Ayo here said that one of the good things they will do is to make sure that the products are available to us. Let the products be available and at a very cheap rate. So we believe that it is for our own good. But if, on the contrary, that happens, we'll still know what to do. But let the products be available at a cheap rate. Kerosene is about 900 naira. Fuel now has risen from 165 to 185. Of course, liquefied gas, the cooking gas, that one, nobody knows what is happening there. So they should fix our refineries. When they do this, I think we know that they are serious, not just changing an NPC from a corporation to a company.
Yes, changing the name is not going to help Nigerians, but let there be implementation that will assist us. All right, going further, the Osun State Governor, Boyega Oyetola, is engaging not fewer than 5 or 15 lawyers and including senior advocates of Nigeria, to challenge the victory of the People's Democratic Party candidate, Ademola Adeleke. What is he going to make out of this, knowing fully well that Mr. President Buhari himself had congratulated who is the supposed head of APC, had congratulated the incoming governor Adeleke. And then this one is engaging about 50 lawyers, including senior advocates.
If the governor of the outgoing governor of Osun State feels dissatisfied, he has the right, constitutional right, to go to court. Let's give that to him. It is his right. But I have questions. What is he asking the court to do? To upturn the victory of Ademola Adeleke? Or, I don't understand. He has the right to hire even 500 lawyers if he wishes. But the question is, what is he seeking? We saw the people speak. I believe that the people of Osun State spoke, and they spoke by voting the person they wanted. They didn't even vote the party. I believe they voted an individual. Recall what happened 4 years ago, how the elections were done. Recall that it was declared inconclusive when it was obvious that somebody was leading. At the end of the day, it was redone. And the APC secretary now, and that should be, what is that his name, was a contender, SDP candidate. It took him to support APC for the APC to be declared the winners of the election. That was what brought this particular man to power. Now, they have gone to the field again to test their popularity, and a winner has emerged in the person of Ademola Adeleke, whose brother, the late Ishaq Adeleke, was the governor, whose father was a senator. Look, the Adelekes have built a name in Osun State. Their father was a senator who has produced 2 senators and about producing 2 governors, one family, like the Bush of United States. Therefore, let the governor of Osun State go to court and prove a case if he has any. It is his right, but I tell you, it will be difficult for him to upturn the victory of Ademola Adeleke and, of course, the victory of PDP. Meanwhile, from me, congratulations to the people of Osun State for having spoken and in a loud voice.
All right, Honorable Ayo, do you think this idea of going to court, even when the INEC booth had the INEC booth had said that that was one of the most peaceful elections and had assured Nigerians that 2023 it's going to be like that all the way. And then this money that will be used in paying 50 lawyers and the senior advocate, is it not money that can be, reinvested into the state, to make the lives of people in the state better? Why going to court?
Thank you very much, Prof. I think the court is there for, after the elections, if you feel aggrieved or your right is infringed upon, and you can amass as many lawyers as you like to state your case, it's up to you. But to me, the much I have monitored this electoral process in Osun State, I think the popular opinion, says that Adeleke won his election. People were so happy. There was jubilation in the streets. They were talking about, hoping for new things to come. About they said they didn't have good infrastructures, and they expect that this dispensation with a new governor, that those things they are going to start reaping them. So I think it's the true essence of democracy. But I don't know how much of an impact it's going to make, with the 50 lawyers he has so far amassed. But it all depends on, the man has won his election, and I don't think they can do much. That's
at what point will people let go? You won the first time, you've been there for 4 years, and if eventually someone comes up, defeats you at the poll, why going to court? At what point will our people, especially African leaders, learn to throw in the towel?
Why would you let go of an industry that profits you so much?
Okay.
Why would you let go as a governor? We know that some governors take home from security votes, they receive as much as 700 million. A particular governor gets 1.2 million monthly who will want to let go? What greedy man will want to let go? Why would you let go? Do you know what it means to be a governor? So these are the things they look at. They don't want to let go. For this particular governor, the power of Ikumbesi could not save him at the state level.
Yeah.
The power of Ikumbesi, I give it to Buhari, said, I'm not going to interfere in the electoral process. He has all the commissioners, all the SAs, all local government chairmen. Those things could not save him. Well, I don't know how the court will save him. Our people, in answer to your question, cannot let go because the offices are juicy. They don't want to lose or let go those things that are coming to them from the offices they occupy. Nigeria is a place where you enter the government house as a poor man, you come out as a multi-billionaire. So why would you let go of such?
So invariably, it's not just because of the juicy office, because of greed.
That is greed. It is the greed that brings up that.
And egocentrism.
That is quite.
That's why they won't let go. All right. This continuous embarrassment, intimidation, and assault of Nigerian journalists. Lagos policeman on illegal duty, handcuffed, brutalized a Punch reporter, a journalist, because he intercepted them, when they stopped a bus driver and was manhandling the bus driver. And as a journalist, he used his phone. Unfortunately, they found out he was writing something. When they discovered he's a journalist, they dealt with him, even had to handcuff him and pushed him into one of the buses. Does it mean that journalists don't have protection?
Yes, the Nigerian journalist has no protection. The Nigerian journalist has become an endangered species. The Nigerian journalist is an orphan. We've seen cases where a governor will order the arrest and indefinite detention of a journalist and nothing will happen. We have seen cases where the governor will order his policemen to manhandle a journalist and nothing will happen. I was traveling to Abuja some time ago and I discovered what was happening. When I tried to record it, the policeman threatened to shoot me. I also tell you that here in Agde State, during the APC primaries, one of the primaries, that a senior police officer ordered that I should be walked out because I was trying to get record of what they were discussing, because what they were discussing to me was wrong. I don't want to reveal it here. While I was writing it down, they collected my pen, seized my paper, and asked that I be walked away. If I had refused or resisted, perhaps my fate would have been worse than this particular Punch journalist. So the press is being gagged, both by the security men and even by the government. The journalist has no protection, but it's illegal. I call on any UJ to please come out and ask that justice be done. Let this journalist get some good lawyers, let NUJ get some good lawyers, and file a suit against the Nigerian police. 50 billion naira, let them go there and let them pay it. That's my own suggestion.
All right, Honorable Layo, recently, right from the time of journalism or the press, it is always obvious that the press is the fourth estate of the realm, and there is no government that has ever existed without the press. And then, why will the journalist be rough-handled at any little circumstance?
Thank you, Prof. That journalist was simply doing his job. He was covering, they were manhandling a driver, because they were extorting him of some money. Then he tried to cover it, and he's doing his job as a journalist. So, but it's all about impunity and the rules of police engagement. Police should be, advised not to manhandle citizens, at least until they are proven guilty. Nobody will ask you to go out of to beat up a journalist who is, he's doing his job. So he's part of checkmating what's happening in the society and feeding it to the citizens. You don't have to block him. Instead, the police have to comport themselves in a manner that they will not come to disrepute. People will not video them when they misbehave in public. So the Nigerian police force, I want to use this opportunity to call on the IG. The code of conduct, the police rules of engagement has to change. They have to give respect, even to people they perceive as criminals. At least until the court has pronounced them that they are one. You don't do about beating people. We are not in a banana republic. Such things should not be seen in a civilized society. It's very bad. I think the NUJ has to be proactive now and do something let it serve as a deterrent to other police officers who want to manhandle journalists.
All right, quickly before we leave the stage, Doc, it is about a few months ago the IG announced, stopping everything about roadblock, and that is why this one is called illegal duty. And they had to also they had to pride in that their iniquitous move by even handling rough handling a journalist. And then don't you think, as it happens now, the IG himself should bring these ones to book?
It is funny, very funny, that whenever a new IG takes office, the first thing we hear him say that I am ordering the dismantling of all roadblocks. And the next day you still see the policemen there. Some time ago on Abowore Road Expressway, after every kilometer you see one checkpoint. After you see one checkpoint, this person will collect money, this person will collect money. And then this IG that has ordered, what has it done? How many policemen have been punished? How many DPOs have been punished? Well, these people are sent by the DPOs and the commanders. How many of them have been punished? If you ask these policemen on these roadblocks, whether they are legal or illegal, they tell you they are rendering account to someone. And then that someone renders to someone. Maybe that someone renders to someone else. So the issue of it is illegal roadblock does not exist because these roadblocks are everywhere and the IGs have not done anything and we never do anything about it. So they should stop disturbing our ears with this issue of we are ordering all policemen on roadblocks to lead the way. Now Army has roadblock, Navy has roadblock, Civil Defense has roadblock, even Air Force has roadblock. And then some of the naval people like those at Omeka Junction here, you see one young man carrying two waterproof field with plantain chips or bitter cola. You think he's selling bitter cola, but you won't realize that he's collecting money from the naval people there. This is a shame to our nation, Nigeria. The IG should please call his men to order. And that is my parting shot. All right,
what you've just said now is that the Air Force should live in the air. The Army should live in the
They should be in the sea.
And then the Navy should be in the sea.
Why the policemen should be in their station?
Well, the policemen should be in their station. And let's see, by doing that, if peace will reign. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen and our wonderful viewers, this is where we are coming to the end of today's Nigeria Today. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow. Just keep watching your darling television, The Living TV, where we bring the world first to you. In the studio with me today has been Honorable Ayo Owonle. Ayo Owonle, thank you for coming.
Thank you, viewers.
And Dr. Stanley Nduago. Dr. Stanley, thank you for coming.
Thank you, comrade and distinguished viewers. Thank you for being with us today, and we hope to see you next week.
I remain your anchorman, Chinedum Adela. We'll be back tomorrow.